Everybody knows what the Ballon d'Or is, a golden ball seated on a base of jewels awarded to the best player on the planet. But have you ever heard of the Super Ballon d'Or? Probably not, because it has only been awarded once in history, to just one player many years after he retired. Alfredo Di Stefano. Noob or nerd, you may still wonder what he did to deserve the award, especially since you were nowhere to be found on this green earth in the 50s and 60s when Don Alfredo ruled supreme. Welcome to Football Pro. In this video, we're going to talk about the career of Alfredo Di Stefano and how he clinched the Super Ballon d'Or. This channel is dedicated to bringing you awesome regular content in and around the beautiful game of football. Let's dive in. The beginning. Alfredo Di Stefano was born in Argentina and grew up among the football-crazed population. The genes were on his side as his father was a former defender for River Plate, and the young Alfredo played in the streets and neighborhood clubs during his teenage years. With a recommendation letter from his dad and an impressive trial, Alfredo was accepted into the ranks of River Plate in 1944. The next year, a 19-year-old Di Stefano quickly formed the core of the famous La Máquina generation that started an era of success for the club. After winning the league in his first year, Alfredo joined another Argentine team, Huracán, on loan where he became the league's top goal scorer and scored the fastest goal in league history against his parent club. He would return to River Plate the following season as Huracán could not afford a permanent transfer fee. On his return to River Plate, Di Stefano became popular for his technical ability, vision, and dangerous finishing. He finished the league as the top scorer with 27 goals and landed another league title for River Plate in 1947. That same year, he led Argentina to win the South American Championship with 6 goals in 6 matches. But a player's strike would later interrupt Alfredo's winning rhythm as many of Argentina's best talents departed the league. Alfredo Di Stefano took a turn to Millonarios in Colombia. Here, in Bogotá, Colombia, Di Stefano would launch another successful era as Millonarios Ballet Azul dominated the country's football. Di Stefano himself scored 16 goals in 14 games to land the club their first ever league title. The Colombian club would win 2 more titles, with Di Stefano finishing as top scorer on each occasion. By 1954, he had scored 267 goals in 294 games for the club. Clubs from Europe were already on their knees for Di Stefano. Real Madrid had invited Millonarios to play a friendly tournament which they won as Alfredo Di Stefano scored a brace in the final against Los Blancos. The club president, Santiago Bernabeu, became an instant fan of this prodigy, but getting him would be no easy ball. Millonarios used the infamy of their new status to organize a world tour where Di Stefano spearheaded the team to beat world champions Uruguay and the mighty Magyars of Hungary. By then, Barcelona was already making advances to get his signature ahead of their Madrid rivals. The Catalans got a nod from his parent club, River Plate, who held his rights, but Real Madrid hastily struck a deal with Millonarios, and so began the longest and dirtiest bidding war in football history. Di Stefano had arrived in Barcelona and was ready to join the already dominant team who boasted stars like Laszlo Kubala and Luis Suarez. But the transfer dispute prevented him from playing any official matches. Because of the ban, Di Stefano was paraded by the Blaugrana around radio stations in Barcelona, declaring that he would never play for Real Madrid. This forced Spanish authorities to step in to stop the shit show. The situation was in a nasty stalemate, and Di Stefano was fed up, almost deciding to throw in the towel and retire in Argentina to start a business. But a mediation in 1953 decided that Di Stefano should alternate seasons between Real Madrid and Barcelona, starting in the Spanish capital. A 27-year-old Di Stefano arrived at the Santiago Bernabeu, hungry for glory after 7 months of inactivity, and scored on his Los Blancos debut. The situation did not go down well at Barcelona as the Catalan club finally pulled out of the stalemate and sold their shares in his rights to Real Madrid. A few hours after that business deal, Di Stefano scored twice in a 5-0 El Clasico win against Barcelona. Later that season, he scored 5 goals over 2 legs against Atletico Madrid. It was the beginning of something scary. Oh, by the way, a lot of hard work and care goes into these videos, so if you could help us out and click that lovely subscribe button, we'd greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up too. The reign. His first season at Real Madrid delivered the 1953-54 La Liga title. Di Stefano finished the season as the top goal scorer with 27 goals in 28 games, including 2 decisive hat-tricks in the last 2 home games to close out the season. Real Madrid had won their first title in ages and found their cheat code in just one player. Magical. The next season, Di Stefano recommended a fellow Argentine, Hector Real, and the club won back-to-back league titles. Los Blancos had a taste of European victory after defeating Stade de Reims in that year's Latin Cup. As the club won another league title, they represented Spain in the first-ever European Cup, now known as the Champions League. In 1956, Di Stefano finished as top goal scorer in Spain, but Athletic Bilbao won the league ahead of either Real or Barca. But the best thing to happen that season was the European Cup. Di Stefano scored the most goals in the competition as they plowed through Partizan and Milan, and finally made a comeback to win the trophy against Stade de Reims in the final. Although he came second place to Stanley Matthews for the first Ballon d'Or ever, Di Stefano had already cemented his name in history and built a dynasty. He would win the next award in 1957 and a second Golden Ball in 1959. The Blonde Arrow, as he was called, did not bother adapting to Europe and instead imposed his style on the continent. He was literally everywhere on the field with his lightning-quick pace, playing the ball low unlike anyone in Spain had ever seen before. Many lovers of football have called Alfredo the perfect footballer with his goals, work rate, stamina, versatility, and creativity. He thrived in Real Madrid's 3-2-5 formation, where could play anywhere on the pitch and frustrated his man markers. In his 11 years for Real Madrid, he scored 7 goals in 5 consecutive European Cup finals and won all of them from 1956 to 1960, establishing Real Madrid as the European giants they are today. His record of most goals scored for Los Blancos, 308 goals, stood for several decades before it was surpassed by Raúl in 2009. Since then, only Cristiano Ronaldo and Karim Benzema have surpassed his tally. Alfredo's reign in the capital also brought 8 La Liga titles among many others. But like all good things, the golden era of the Blonde Arrow eventually came to an end. There came a time when the Blonde Arrow was no longer blonde nor fast. In 1961, Real Madrid was eliminated from the European Cup for the first time by a familiar foe, Barcelona, and would reach 2 more finals in which they lost. The club's losses to Benfica in 1962 and Inter Milan in 1964 took a toll, and changes began to take place. Alfredo Di Stefano was beyond his prime and was offered a place on the club's coaching staff, which he rejected for a move to Espanyol. He reunited with a former pal, Laszlo Kubala, in Catalonia, but would never perform like his glory days again. His first season outside the Spanish capital ended his streak of double-digit goals in 18 consecutive seasons since he impressed with Huracan. At age 40, Di Stefano finally hung up his boots and retired from the sport. Sadly, his impact would not be felt as much with the national team due to the bureaucracy and turbulence of the times. Di Stefano's success in the 1947 South American Championship for his native country, Argentina, remained his only victory in international football. After he naturalized to Spain, he played 31 games, scoring a total of 23 goals. The honor. Even after he retired, Di Stefano stuck to football and launched a managerial career where he led the likes of Valencia, Boca Juniors, and River Plate to titles. He would also take charge of Real Madrid, but never won a trophy with Los Blancos. The Super Ballon d'Or was announced in 1989 to commemorate the 35th anniversary of the Ballon d'Or, where Di Stefano had finished in second place. France Football organized 3 different polls for the award, where the voting choice was limited to former Ballon d'Or winners. One jury was conducted for France Football's jury, another for the former Ballon d'Or winners themselves, and another was conducted for readers and viewers. Readers and viewers voted Michel Platini as the winner of their poll, ahead of Cruyff, Beckenbauer, and Di Stefano. But Di Stefano won the other 2 polls, claiming 11 points in the jury poll and 9 points in the veterans poll. On that spectacular night, Alfredo Di Stefano was awarded perhaps the greatest individual honor in football history. The trophy itself remains at Real Madrid's museum in the Santiago Bernabeu, the stadium where Di Stefano created thousands of memories. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it, but why stop now? Click this video right here for more awesome content.